I remember when I started using Clawpilot and was like, this is a really cool product, but it's different than the idea I had. The idea I had was, I want this running in the cloud. I think that's the place where we realized we could both help each other out.
I was looking at it and I also wanted to make it work in the cloud. There's all this, I want to have a VM in the cloud, install it there, keep it running in the cloud. It doesn't feel like a good system, right? Yeah. So I was like, if you're going to make the cloud-based version and I connect to it, you're going to get all the powers of Clawpilot. I'm going to get the always on, so let's just collaborate.
I don't know that people fully grasp what it means to have a personal assistant that has agency and judgment. Yeah. That you trust to do certain things for you without you having to babysit something or push a button, right? Like that's sort of the real big difference between this and I think, including OpenClaw and every other AI tool out there, it requires you to sit in front of it and type some things or say some things and hit enter and wait for it to complete the task. This is totally different. I kind of think that these things are going to help us be better people in a way. And I think that if you can teach these assistants, these are the things I aspire to do, but I'm never going to get around to. Yeah. And then it can start to fill in the gaps, and it just it helps you be better at what you're doing. I think that's exactly aligned to our company mission. If you actually read the words, empower every person, organization to achieve more. That's what we want for customers and people. And this technology is at the point now where you can make it happen.
So we're actually swamped with all the, PRs people are making, asking for help. They're starting to help each other. It's kind of the community is kind of growing around it. I'm glad we're collaborating with security, with our organization's guardrails to make sure this is properly secure for the customers.
The stakes are pretty high here. So what are some of the things that we need to do to make sure that when people go and get their assistant, they feel confident that we've done most, so we've tackled all the known unknowns that live in this area. Yeah.
There's different ways to approach security, privacy, compliance, and generally our processes internally as well. One way is to think of it as, okay, this is a blocker for me to roll out. The other way to think about it is, I invite you to hack this in so many ways. Yeah. Please be creative and find so many attack vectors. Yeah. So we don't see this with actual customers, right? Then we have a robust RCA process where we don't want to see this ever again, right? We have an issue, we harden it, and then we go on, right? And then that we apply to the new features we build as well. If some feature comes in, we have a set of people who are around us making sure they review this, not because it's a blocker again, just because we want to feel comfortable and we want to sleep well.
Up until now, when we build software for customers, it's all the same. The version of Outlook you use, the version of Outlook I use are exactly the same. Yeah. But the version of Clawpilot you use and the version of Clawpilot I use are completely different things.
That is absolutely true.
And the reason is because every single time you give feedback to Clawpilot, a little dialogue pops up and it's saving this information to memory. Yeah. Fundamentally, OpenClaw, Claude Code, GitHub CLI, these are agentic coding harnesses that are agentic, operating systems that are basically remembering.
I was thinking about a human and how a human memorizes things. I forget things that are irrelevant because I didn't use them, But then I built a system where if I'm going to use it repeatedly, it's going to stick. But if I'm not, I want it to forget. I don't want to have an infinite diary of things, right? Yeah. So there's kind of layers of memory where, it goes through the layers and it kind of disappears over time if it's not used.
What do you think success is going to look like?
Success means, we're helping the planet to be faster, better, more efficient.
I think fundamentally, we are very creative people. Humans are creative in general. That's where we get the most joy. I do a lot of typing, not thinking, in my job. A lot of it. Yeah. And what I'm excited about is that this thing takes that part of the job away and lets me fully commit to being creative. And if we can do that for a lot of people, we will have achieved the mission and success because we will have created a product that everybody wants and talks about. And it's already happening.
It's happening, yeah.
Everybody hears about this through word of mouth, Yeah. That's the best sign of a successful product is you hear about it from your friends, right? That's how you know like you've made it. I want to work on something where you look back and say, I just can't believe we made that.